Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, the number one independent fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your breaking news show, and it's a little bit earlier due to the game tonight. Obviously, it's the 29th of November. We're still in World Cup mode, but we've had some breaking news surrounding Cody Gakpo, which I'm going to get into in a minute. Before we do that, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the video, you bunch of legends. If none of you are following us on TikTok as well, make sure you head over there. I'm currently live streaming on both right now. So Fabrizio Romano has been speaking with Mark Goldbridge today on the United Stand. A lot of revealing news coming out about the Glazers, about Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen, but most noticeable, the biggest kind of news to come out was about Cody Gakpo, who has scored again today against Qatar. What a World Cup he is having, by the way. And every game he plays, it seems like the price tag is just going up and up and up. So he is on fire at the minute. His price tag's going up, and we've been heavily linked with him. And apparently, well, I'll get into the news in a second, but just big up United Stand as well for the work they do and getting the news from Romano. I think they deserve a shout out. Because this was live today at about 12 o'clock, I think it was. So Cody Gakpo is an interesting one, and I want to get into the quotes. So conversations are now ongoing between Manchester United and Cody Gakpo's agents to reach an agreement on personal terms. That's from Fabrizio Romano and the United Stand. PSV won 50 million euros guaranteed fee for him in January. I think it's got something to do with his release clause or something, maybe. Towards the end of the year, so you'll be able to get him even cheaper. But that's why they're trying to get big money for him now, whilst he's a hot prospect. Done really well for PSV. I think he's got the most kind of goal contributions, assists, and goals in Europe right now. I'm pretty sure he's top of that list, or if not, he's there or thereabouts. So, do we use him as a striker? That's the question until the summer, and then go get a proper number 9, because the main criticism of United fans at the minute is, Cristiano Ronaldo's gone. So what happens to us? Do we try use an injured Anthony Martial, or do we, go get another number 9 as well as that? Because when we go into the January market, we are not going to go sign a striker, a winger like a Gakpo who can play in various positions, and then go sign a right back as well. Especially if the Glazers are going to sell, they're not going to go pump in 50, 70, 100 mil in January. It's just very, very unlikely. So more to the point, they'll probably use a stopgap. That's what I reckon they're more looking at than going to get someone like a winger who can play there. But whilst he's hot right now, you need to go get him, because other clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, these kind of guys, they're going to come in and they're going to want and they're going to pay decent money for him, because, as I said, he's on fire this season. Looks really, really good. He's good in all aspects. It's not just shooting, it's not just crossing, it's not just his pace, not just his dribbling. He's got lots of variety to his game. And he's only young as well. He's like 23 years old. So he is one for the future, definitely. And if you could tie him down now, like PSV, as I just said then, they want 50 million euros, man. That is fucking cheap price for him. Like 50 million euro package. You could probably include add-ons in that, something like 40 million plus 10 mil on top of that as well. So I think that'd be a great deal for Gakpo. And yeah, if we leave it until the summer, fucking guys like Real Madrid and people like this are just going to come in, waltz in, and absolutely steal him. So if you want to subscribe to our channel, by the way, please click the button on the right hand side. For people in TikTok, just head to the link in the bio, click the YouTube on there, and hit the subscribe button. Like the video as well if you're feeling super generous. So Cody Gakpo, super interesting. Apparently, agreed terms, reached agreement on personal terms. That's what Fabrizio Romano has said on the United Stand today. So yeah, let's hope we can go get him in January, because of course that's the best time for us. Been more convenient because Cristiano Ronaldo has gone, and his wages are off the bill, because obviously Cristiano was on about 500 grand a week. So if you clear that bill for another year, you're probably saving about £12 million in itself there, or just Cody Gakpo's wages in general. So there's a lot to think about going into this, especially financially for Manchester United. Could there be a world, I'm going to talk about the Glazers in a second as well, but could there be a world where, the Glazers, they're already in motion now and they're looking at potential buyers and the wheels are set? Maybe that happens in January. If you can kind of find out who's coming in, you can get their authority to say, look, we can bring these players in now, rather than you going to spend, I don't know how much Gakpo is going to be worth in the summer, but rather than spend, something stupid like 80 million like we did on Antony, for example, you can save yourself 30 million right now by going to get Gakpo and just get the deal done like that. And it'd be much more convenient for the owners. Or, in the real world, we'll buy a stopgap striker in January and then we'll wait until the summer to address these situations. And then it might be a bit more competition. PSG might come into the race. Real Madrid might come into the race. Other clubs like Barcelona might come into the race. Especially if he keeps on this trajectory he's on at the minute, keeps that momentum because he's flying. I'm not sure what the Senegal score and Ecuador is right now, but I know the Netherlands were beating Qatar 2-0, something along the lines of that. So please, United, if this is true, of course, Eric Ten Hag has the same agents as Cody Gakpo. So if it is true that we're agreeing personal terms and we're setting up a deal, at least we're actually planning this time, because United with transfers, if any United fan out there will know and talk to me in the comment section, know how bad we are with doing deals and stuff like that. So yeah, it's one of them. We can't waste time on this. We've got to get in there, get the deal done whilst he's a hot prospect, before his price goes up even more. That would be my suggestion. But massive news on Cody Gakpo. Just to let people know as well, I am going to be live for the watch along. Obviously, a massive game for England tonight, innit? England versus Wales in the World Cup in the last group stage game. So I will be live for that. I'll be doing a live watch along. So if you want to come join me, for the guys on TikTok, head over to YouTube and just type Real Reds Talking. And yeah, you should see me live in about, when did we kick off? 7. So I'll probably be live about 6:30 for that. But I just had to get this quick news show in before I did that. Fabrizio Romano also spoken about the right back situation. Apparently, we're desperate to find a solution for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, whether that's a loan deal or a full sale. My inkling is the fact that it would be more of a loan deal, that we get his wages off the bill, he goes to a West Ham or a Crystal Palace or something like that, and excuse me, and then yeah, we find again probably another stopgap to compete with Dalot. But the rumours is Jeremy Frimpong is absolutely open to a move to Manchester United, but the deal will be decided on whether United want to invest at right back. So again, the talk of kind of pulling purse strings again, like they might not go in for someone like a Jeremy Frimpong. This is the thing, they're not going to go spend money. The Glazers, especially if they're selling, they're not going to go spend money on Gakpo, let's say 50 million, then Frimpong, who, Bayer Leverkusen want around 20 to 25 mil, and then get a striker on top of that. Like, it's not going to happen. I don't know what our record is for the most amount of money spent in January, but I doubt it's above 50 million. Like, I doubt it's above 50 million. So it's probably one out of the 3 who will end up getting. Who it'll be, I have no idea. Another fact you have to include in as well is, if you go get someone like a Frimpong, does he then become first choice, or do they battle it out for competition? And will Frimpong be happy with just being second reserve to Diego Dalot? Because Diego Dalot's having a fantastic season. So do you want to stunt that? I think Dalot's got a year left on his contract. Barcelona are interested. Do you want to make him a little bit unhappy? Especially if you're in contract talks with him. Maybe if I was Manchester United, if you're a smart club, you tie Diego Dalot down to a contract, and then you'd be like, right, we're going to bring this guy in, but it's just for competition. Like, you look at Man City, for example, every position really has got almost a world-class player in there. Like, if they want to rotate Bernardo Silva, you can put Mahrez there. If they want to rotate someone like a Foden, you put Gundogan in there. Do you know what I mean? If you want to rotate a Laporte or a Diaz, you've got a Kanji who's really good, and Aki who's been performing really well. So they have quality, class competition in every single position. It's just, if Frimpong was to come in, would he be happy doing that with Diego Dalot? And does he believe enough in his ability to think, right, I can take this guy on, I've got better quality than this guy, and I can push into that first spot? And I suppose that's kind of, the mentality you want, don't you, if you sign in a player. 100%. My personal shout, another kind of Dutch player, would be Dumfries. Big up Reese with a 30. I don't know how many footballs you've sent on the TikTok, but big up yourself. 50. Wow, 100. What a legend. Absolute legend. Big up yourself. Hope you have a lovely day. For people on YouTube wondering what the fuck are you absolutely waffling shit about, it's just some donations on TikTok. So yeah, don't worry about that too much. But thank you to Reese. Big up yourself. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel already, please do. The link is in the bio. So I want to move the conversation on a little bit about the Glazers. Fabrizio Romano give his take on this situation. He said some groups have already contacted the Glazer family about acquiring United, and there is something ongoing. Manchester United's board will change when the new owners come in. That's from Fabrizio Romano. So it seems like a change in structure for United, which is, I think, a welcome thing. A lot of the criticism over the past couple of years have been, why is Darren Fletcher? What's his role at the club? Even when Rangnick got asked about that in a press conference, he said, I don't have a clue. I literally have no idea what he does, basically. So you got Darren Fletcher kind of just floating about, going from job to job. Maybe he's a cleaner, maybe he sweeps the floor. Fuck knows. So yeah, Darren Fletcher's there. John Murtaugh hasn't exactly got a reputable kind of reputable reputation. Can I use that word? I'm going to use that word anyway. Because you look back to the summer, the things with Arnautovic and Rabiot, and you had Murtaugh flying out to fucking Turin to get a Rabiot deal over the line, and he couldn't even get that done. His mum was like, no, mate, he wants more Wongo, he wants more wages. So Murtaugh hasn't got the best reputation. Obviously, got the Casemiro deal over the line, but Casemiro was kind of pushing the ball out a little bit anyway to say, I'm ready for a move, I'm ready for a new challenge. So that wasn't a hard deal as they would probably make you think it was. I don't think anyway. And then Richard Arnold and obviously was one of Woodward's best mates. So the whole board is still in question. Obviously, that all stems from the top, which is why the Glazers are targeted, which is why they've wanted him out for so long, which is why we're buzzing. They're actually going. But the board is an issue at the minute. There's a reason why this club has been run bad for so long, for the past, until Ten Hag come in, the past 10 years, whatever it's been. It's because of Ed Woodward, Richard Arnold, John Murtaugh, these guys who've been in charge. It's the clowns running the asylum, essentially. And they've spent over £1 billion, and look where we are. If you give that money to City, look where they are. We spent, you look at Fred, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, it's probably about 180 mil. City spent that on Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland, and Cancelo. So do you see the levels, the different levels of recruitment there? It's absolutely mad. But yeah, going back to the investment with the Glazers, hopefully it's not an American investment firm. Hopefully there's a bit of a split in the fan base at the minute with the ownership model. Who people want to come in? Do they want state ownership with Abu Dhabi or Saudis or Dubai? Do they want? Well, I don't think anyone wants the American investment firms who just basically want to invest for money on return. I don't think anyone wants that at all. Or do they want someone like a wealthy billionaire like a Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come in, take over the reins, and have him in charge? A couple of things with Jim Ratcliffe. A lot of people are quick to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Quick to jump the gun and be like, he's the best option, definitely the best option. If you do a little bit of research, look at, how he's doing with Nice at the minute in France. He's not doing the best of jobs. The recruitment hasn't been amazing. The strategy hasn't been amazing from that club. Just if you listen to a couple of journalists that are surrounding there and France and stuff. So is he the best option? I don't know. Will he have enough money to compete with the state ownerships? That's another thing as well, because if you look at how wealthy Newcastle's owners are, Man City's owners are, they're the levels above everybody else. And I heard the analogy described as imagine a plane for takeoff, right? You've got this rich, wealthy, oil money plane just about to take off. Do you jump on that plane? So you're considered, a big, United's a big asset anyway. But if they jump on that plane, they would probably then trump Newcastle and City just because of the potential they've got as a club. So do you jump on that train, given the questionable human rights that are involved? Or do you then look elsewhere and then drop down the table further? This is the kind of moral compass people have got in their head. They don't know what to do. They don't know what they want. It's kind of hypocritical a little bit, because when Abu Dhabi took over Man City, every United fan was screaming from the hills, oil money, blah blah blah. You're only there because of money, etc., etc., etc. All this kind of stuff. And I feel like the same criticism will be targeted towards Manchester United fans. Of course, it will be. That's the first thing you're going to hear. If we have state ownership taking over, whether that's Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and it's looking like Dubai is the more likely one, then we're going to get the same criticism. We're going to be tied with the same knot with the other clubs, and we're going to have constant questions about this surrounding the club. Do we want that as a fan base? I don't know. I can't say what everybody wants for this club. I can only give you my personal take, and to be honest, I don't even have a personal take because I'm kind of sat on the fence about the whole situation. I'm trying to read into every ownership thing that we've been linked with, or the rumors around. I've been looking into the ownership models, how it would run, as much as I can. But like Gary Neville said, they need a manifesto. They need to put out there, the Glazers, which they probably won't do. They'll just sell to the highest bidder. But they need to put out there, you know, how it's going to work, who's going to take over, what's going to happen with the board, what's going to happen with the team, the manager. Because look what happened with Todd Bowley when Todd Bowley came in at Chelsea. He got rid of Tuchel. And a lot of Chelsea fans weren't happy about that at all. Can you imagine him, the new ownerships coming in, playing football managers, we'll buy him, we'll bring Ronaldo back, we'll do this, we'll get rid of Ten Hag. Like, the United fans would be absolutely fuming. So there needs to be communication both between the new owners, the Glazers, and the fans. 100%, we need that to move forward. Because what's to say, we get another a US investment firm like the Glazers, and we have that for another 15 years. And then we're like, we want this out, we want this out, we want this guy out, we want this guy out. The board don't change. They keep the same kind of ones because the likes of Richard Arnold are very meticulous when it comes to like banking and financial side of things. And look, that obviously whoever it is who's investing will be there for profit and be there for money. So then it becomes not about the club and not about football again. And yeah, hopefully, if the wheels are in motion, it's someone we're going to be happy with. I don't know how people feel about the state ownership and stuff like that. I'd love to hear your comments. So anyone in the TikTok and the YouTube, let me know what you think about the ownership of United, who you want to take over. A lot of different takes at the minute with that. I think it's fascinating, to be honest. I'm just going to double check the YouTube comments to see if we've got any in there, and then I'll address them. So we've got Sharinde Gakpo, welcome to United. Big up Sharinde in the chat. I really don't think Glazers give a shit about United once they get money. That's absolutely spot on, mate. You're 100% spot on there. Akil, I am not sold on the idea of Jim Ratcliffe owning the club. He is a so-called United fan, but he's a Chelsea season ticket for years and needs to have been run poorly. Thank you for that, Akil. That was the point I was just making then. Yeah, you make a very good point there, because people don't really look into the background of these kind of guys. If you look at Jim Ratcliffe at Nice, Nice hasn't been run incredible. And Manchester United is a whole different world to OGC Nice in the greatest respects. Like, it's completely different. So you can't just walk to United thinking, yeah, boom, throw that money at that. It's going to be a long-term project. You're going to have to spend billions first and foremost. And I hope the Premier League inflict that on him. Well, not inflict him, but I hope they say, look, if you're going to buy this club, we need proof of funds that you're going to invest 1 to 2 billion. Because essentially, yes, it's going to improve United, but it's going to improve the Premier League as well. If you've got if United get a new stadium, the state of the art, they invest in the club, they invest in the facilities, ultimately, naturally, that makes the Premier League better as well. So, yeah, they're going to have to run a kind of evaluation on the people that come in. Hopefully they do that, because when the Glazers bought us, they bought us on debt. They leveraged debt on us like £600 million, which never should have been allowed in the first place. They basically bought us with a credit card, and then now they're selling us. It's rumored we're going to sell for about 6 to 7 billion as well. So yeah, no team should be allowed to do that. No team, sorry, no ownership should be allowed to do that and just come in and just like, yeah, we'll put in 500 million, but we'll wait until we've got a couple of years in the Champions League, take the revenue out, and then boom, gone again. Do you know what I'm saying? So we need to be very careful about who comes in next, 100%. Sharinde says we need Ten Hag for the next 4 to 6 years at least. Ten Hag is one good thing happened in the entire decade, man. 100%. Yeah, can't disagree with that at all. I think he is the one shining bright light at the minute. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. I've just dropped an edit in our TikTok. Make sure you check it out about the new era, because it is a new era now. We've got Ten Hag at the wheel. We've got some of the signings that has made have been phenomenal. Some of the play, obviously Casemiro, Eriksen, Lisandro Martinez, one of them being my favourite, has come in and hit the ground running. And they're all players that he's picked. It's not been our scouting setup that's come in and picked that. It's been Ten Hag who's done the work on that. So I've had a brain fart. Where's my head gone? So yeah, So he is important. We need to keep hold of him. I think he's the next up and coming world class potential manager, like a Pep Guardiola. He's obviously a student of Guardiola, worked with him at Bayern Munich, and plays kind of a similar style to him as well as that. So I do hope we keep him. Let me just focus that there, so I can put that there. Yeah, perfect. Let me get into a couple of the comments. Where we at? Where we at? Tommy Sullivan, state ownership is the way it'll go, whether we like it or not, in the next 10 to 20 years, regardless. So as long as it's run well and they keep to the history of the club, who cares? Well, you say that, who cares? But people who have a moral compass care. I know a lot of people are just like, give me the oil money, give me the oil money. But if you do your research, so say for example, right, the people who own Newcastle look into the owner or the Saudi prince, yeah, who runs things there. I can't remember the guy's name, but if you do your research and look at his history, this is a guy he's kidnapped two of his own daughters. He's tortured wealthy businessmen in Saudi Arabia. He's a lot of corruption, had something to do with the death of his uncle. There's questionable human rights where the stoning, there's still to this day, they're stoning people to death for being gay. So if you're like, well, it doesn't matter if we like it or not, then it does matter, because the fans' opinion is essential in this matter. Of course it matters. If we don't have a say in it, or we don't mention or bring anything up, then what's the point of us being here? Do you know what I mean? So people have every right to explain their opinion on what kind of ownership they want. And I understand it coming from all angles, whichever one that is. If you want a state ownership, I get it. I know why. If we're to compete with Newcastle and Man City, we need that kind of money to stay up there, because Newcastle in a few years' time, whether people like it or not, are going to be right up there in terms of competing in the Champions League and for the Premier League. They've got the money that they've got coming in now is like 10 times the amount of Man City. And look where Man City are after like 10 years. They're dominating football, absolutely dominating football. Me personally, ideally, I would love a 50+1 fan scheme ownership where the fans own the club, but we have a wealthy investor who's willing to back it on a long-term investment. That would be my personal shout, but I don't think that'll happen. Sharinda, if Dubai doesn't own United, do you think Liverpool's will get them? I like the Liverpool's pun there. Yeah, look, I think everyone's on hold right now. When Liverpool announced that they were for sale, I don't think they could foresee that United was going to get put up at the same time. So they've put it out there and they're like, look, there's still all these guys that are out there willing to buy a club. I think Chelsea had a list of like 100, maybe, something like that. So imagine the queue for United. Now, as soon as you got United and Liverpool like that, it's every single businessman in the world or wealthy man in the world or state ownership's going to go, yeah, I think I'm gonna go try get United, mate. Just because naturally, commercially, because when these state ownerships, especially, what they want is a brand. They want to look good. It's all about marketing, PR, and you've seen it do it with City, how they've affected the area around Man City, invested into it. Dubai have Dubai as a state don't have the oil money like Abu Dhabi do or like Saudi Arabia do, but they have commercial value and they've tried to drift it away from that and they've become that massive entity in that sense. So Dubai would certainly be looking at Manchester United and they would be like, yeah, if we can tag our name to that, think how many sponsorship deals we can feed through that. Like it's absolutely jackpot for any kind of state ownership. So if they don't get United, I imagine they'll probably go for Liverpool. But then how much power do you want in football where you'll have a full state then near the top four basically. If they buy Liverpool, they buy United, they've already got Man City and they get Newcastle. They have so much power in the Premier League then, like huge power. And then what then if they decide to go down a Super League route or something like that, then can we really stop that with the amount of money that's involved? It's a very tricky minefield when you get into the logistics and the financial side of it. It really is. And as fans right now, we can only kind of discuss it and hope and do our research, but ultimately we won't find out until the next. I don't know. Like Sharini says there, do you think the sale can happen within the 22nd of December? Usually these things take time, but from what Fabrizio Romano said today, he suggested that the wheels are already in motion and they're already talking. There's a couple of people who want to buy the club, so I'm guessing that's US investors, Dubai, and maybe Jim Ratcliffe. They would be the three that I would focus on, and I think may be interested and may be talking to the Glazers right now. But if the Glazers are sat there right now, and you could have the best morally competent person in front of you, but if the state ownership is offering a billion more, what are the Glazers going to do? They're obviously gonna gonna give it to whoever the highest bidder is. And I don't think, like Gary Neville said in the manifesto kind of thing, I don't think they're just gonna roll it out to the fans and be like, who do you guys think would be the best for this club? Don't worry about us getting 7 billion, 8 billion. Like, we'll sell to lower people. Who do you guys think? Like, they're not going to do that, are they? Let's be honest. It's the Glazer family. They're absolute mugs. They're going to sell to the highest bidder, whoever's offering the most dinero. So, yeah, I don't know Shrinda, to be honest. If my hunch is that it'll, over the next couple of months, the wheels will be set, and then it'll probably be fully announced, or they'll start to take over in the summer. That's what I think. But look, I don't know too deep into it. So we've got a couple of people on YouTube, a couple of people on the TikTok. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel already, please do. Before I went live, I think we was on 797. So if you can help us push to 800, that'd be absolutely amazing. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers now. And thank you for everyone in the comment section. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed already as well. Really appreciate every single one of you. I'm going to stay on for another 5 minutes talking about the Glazers, Gakpo maybe a little bit. And then obviously we've got the Wales and England watch along tonight in the World Cup, the last game of the group stage. So I will be live for that. And like I said, I'll be doing a watch along. So come join me for that, because it's going to be fun. And I'll be talking a bit more Glazers and Gakpo. And other potential players, because we've got linked with Frimpong, Denzel Dumfries. We're linked with quite a few players. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. You know when you swallow Coke too much. Oh my God. Oh, fucking heart hurts. Jesus. Oh wow. I really don't want US people, because they're just business-minded people. They're really good with business, but worse with respecting the local feelings. But again, the one point I would put out there is anyone who you will rarely find a morally righteous person, businessman, should I say, a billionaire, who is, good on all sides. You rarely find that. Like, if you look at the state ownership, questionable human rights, you've got all the things with migrant workers, especially in Dubai, Qatar, these kind of places, people dying, building things for very low wages, and just getting treated like shit, basically. And even if you look at British billionaires, they've probably stepped over a few people just to get where they are. They've probably, involved in capitalism in some form. Like, these, I think it's difficult wherever you look, to be honest. We've got Saint in the chat. Big up, Sam. Hope you're doing well. So, yeah, the Glazer thing is very interesting. No one expected this. Absolutely no one expected it at all. It's come out of nowhere. But like Romano said, the wheels are in motion. We're talking to a couple of people, a couple of groups and stuff. And yeah, look, I think the day it gets announced, we as a channel, first and foremost, will be popping champagne. I can tell you that for free, because me and my brother, who essentially run this channel, have been, at every protest pretty much, screaming from the hilltops that we want these owners out. And like every other fan has, I'm not just saying us two, but us two in particular from the channel have been screaming from the rooftops how much we hate despise these guys that are in charge of the club, because United as a club have so much fucking potential. Honestly, it's unreal. We generate £600 million per year just as a club, right? And our wage bill is around, I think it's about 350 mil. That's how much we pay in wages. It's absolutely nuts. It's crazy. And yeah, that's because the Glazers are left people like Murtaugh and Richard Arnold and Ed Woodward in charge, because they've just basically threw clowns 100 mil and just said, there you go, go buy whoever you want, go do whatever you want, even though there's not a legit scouting setup, even though our training facilities are not, up to scratch, even though Old Trafford needs renovating. Like, it's a minefield at the minute, and we're trying to work through it as United fans. We're trying to discuss it, what's best for us, but ultimately, I think there's a big split on it. I think many people want many different things, and in the end, it'll go to the highest bidder, unfortunately. But yeah, just to recap, we spoke about Cody Gakpo. Apparently, he's agreed personal terms. He has the same agents as Eric Ten Hag. So that is a deal that United are looking at. Whether that'll be January or not, I'm not entirely sure. We're looking at Frimpong as well as a potential deal. But again, does anyone see us buying Gakpo, Dumfries, Gakpo, Frimpong, and a striker in January? It's not going to happen, is it? Like I said before, I think the most we spent in January is probably 50 mil when we bought Bruno Fernandes. So I don't see that happening. Maybe one player will get. Maybe that will be Gakpo. Fuck knows. Who knows? No idea. So that's that on Gakpo. We'll wait to see more developments on that. Of course, we'll go live if we do get any more developments on that. And yeah, the Glazers I've just spoken about in recent. So hopefully we'll see change very shortly. I'm looking forward to it. We as a channel, like I said, we'll pop champagne. We will celebrate it. But let's not hope. Let's just hope the next owners aren't going to be another set of Glazers for another 15, 17 years. And we're in the same position here in a year's time, saying, why have we got these owners in charge, these greedy bastards just fucking taking money out of the club and not investing in anything into the infrastructure, into the stadium, the facilities, and etc. So thank you to everyone who's joined me, got in the comment section. Big up yourselves. Like I said, I'm going to be live for the England versus Wales watch along in the World Cup. It's going to be a big, big game for us. I'm going to have me fucking It's Coming Home bucket hat and my England t-shirt. So make sure you come and join me. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on socials. Big up everyone in the TikTok. Big up everyone in the YouTube. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you in about an hour's time. Take care. Peace.